In this video, we'll be giving another example for the graphs, to draw the graphs for the reciprocal trigonometric functions. And in this example, we'll be considering the graph y equals minus 5 by 3 minus 1 by 3 sec of 2 theta minus pi, and the range is going to be minus pi is less than or equal to theta, which is less than or equal to 2 pi. Alright, so again, in the previous example, as you noticed, okay, we need to take care of the range that you have. Okay, so in usually that is the very first step that you should do. Okay, take care of the range and decide what you need to exactly draw. Okay, so if we for theta, our range is from minus pi till 2 pi. Okay, and so we here need to find the range for 2 theta minus pi. So if we multiply both sides by 2, we get minus 2 pi is less than or equal to 2 theta, which is less than or equal to 4 pi, and then do a minus pi. So 2 theta minus pi is less than or equal to minus 2 pi minus pi, which is minus 3 pi, and 4 pi minus pi is equal to 3 pi. Again, minus pi, this is the original range. Your final answer is going to be over here, but our starting point is actually from 2 theta minus pi. So we need to find the range for this expression over here, 2 theta minus pi. So theta, you multiply both sides by 2, subtract both sides by minus pi. As a result, you get the final range. The starting point for our graph is going to be from minus 3 pi is less than equal to 2 theta minus pi, which is less than equal to 3 pi. Okay, now let's start. Okay, again, this is a complex function where we have a lot many things going on. Okay, so we will be starting with our basic function. Our basic function is going to be sec theta. So y equals sec theta. From y equals sec theta, we'll move on into y equals sec of 2 theta. Then we'll move on into sec of 2 theta minus pi. Then we'll move to minus 1 by 3 sec of 2 theta minus pi. So we'll be doing everything in small steps. 1 by 3 in minus 1 by 3 into sec of 2 theta minus pi, and then finally we'll move on into minus 5 by 3 minus 1 by 3 into sec of 2 theta minus pi. Alright, so let's start with the graph of y equals sec theta. The graph of y equals sec theta from minus 3 pi till 3 pi. Okay, so we have the sec theta graph crosses the y-axis. Unlike the cosec theta graph, the cosec theta graph does not cross the y-axis. The sec theta graph crosses the y-axis at 1, and then the rest you have is asymptotes. So here you have, this is in radians, so you'll be using radians on our x-axis, 0. This is going to be pi by 2. This is 3 pi by 2. That is 2 pi. Well, I think I need to extend this graph. So let's draw this graph again. Okay, let's consider this. Okay, so this is 0, this is pi by 2, this is 3 pi by 2, this is 5 pi by 2, and finally you have is this final point that you have. It's not an asymptote. And this final point that you have is 3 pi. This is not an asymptote though. Alright, this is minus pi by 2, this is minus 3 pi by 2, this is minus 5 pi by 2, and finally again we don't need this other half, the other half of this U shape. The first half of the U shape ends at minus 3 pi. Alright, so this is your first graph. Now let's start. If we are moving from sec theta to sec 2 theta, so if f theta is equal to sec 2 theta, if f theta is equal to sec theta, in that case sec 2 theta is going to be f of 2 theta. Now, okay, that's your first one. Let's consider the next one. If g theta is equal to sec 2 theta, in that case we are moving to sec 2 theta minus pi. So sec 2 theta minus pi, okay, notice that the minus pi is inside the bracket, inside the function, so this is going to be g of theta minus, this is going to be actually g of theta minus pi by 2. Okay, so g of theta minus pi by 2, okay, even though this is a pi over here, because this expression over here is 2 into theta minus pi by 2. So the best, let's redo the entire thing over here. Instead of doing the 2 theta, let's consider the minus pi first. Okay, so what we do is, let's start with f theta is equal to sec theta, okay, and let's do the second step before the first step. Okay, so instead of doing sec of 2 theta minus pi, let's do sec of, instead of doing sec 2 theta, let's do sec of theta minus pi. Okay, so sec theta, we are converting that into sec of theta minus pi, and then we move into sec of 2 theta minus pi. So if f theta is equal to sec theta, in that case sec of theta minus pi is equal to f of theta minus pi. Sec of theta minus pi is equal to f of theta minus pi. So that's your first step. Now, if g of theta is equal to sec of theta minus pi, in that case sec of 2 theta minus pi is going to be g of 2 theta. Okay, this one is easier. In the previous one you had to do a minus pi by 2, okay, because the 2 was already there in the bracket. Okay, the 2 was already there in the function. So 2 into theta minus pi by 2. You're replacing theta with theta minus pi by 2. Here you're replacing theta with simply 2 theta. Okay, so g of 2 theta is equal to sec of 2 theta minus pi. Okay, to convert theta minus pi to 2 theta minus pi, you're just replacing theta with 2 theta. So that's the second step done. Now the third step is going to be h. If h of theta is equal to sec of 2 theta minus pi, in that case minus 1 by 3 of sec of 2 theta minus pi is going to be equal to minus 1 by 3 h theta, minus 1 by 3 h theta. Then the very final step is minus 5 by 3 minus 1 by 3 sec of 2 theta minus pi. So let's consider another function. J theta is equal to minus 1 by 3 sec of 2 theta minus pi, and to convert this into minus 5 by 3 minus 1 by 3 sec of 2 theta minus pi, this is going to be equal to j theta minus 5 by 3. Okay, so that, and finally you reach your final your answer for 1. So again we are doing 4 separate steps. We move from sec theta to sec of theta minus pi, from sec of theta minus pi to sec of 2 theta minus pi, from there to here, and from here to here. So you're having 4 different steps, and thus you'll be having 4 separate transformations. For the very first transformation, you have got from f theta till f of theta, from f theta till f of theta minus pi. Since the minus pi is inside the bracket, okay, we are going to have a transformation along the x-axis. okay, the minus pi is inside the function, you're going to have a transformation along the x-axis, or in other words, in this case you're going to have a horizontal, the first transformation is going to be a horizontal translation of plus pi units, not minus pi. Okay, that's how we had learned this in P1, that if you're having a minus pi in the bracket, okay, for in minus pi in the bracket, in that case the translation is going to be a plus pi. The translation is going to be for plus pi units along the horizontal axis. Now the second step is from g theta to g2 theta, and that is, again, since this is inside the bracket, it is going to be along the along the horizontal axis, and so this is going to be a horizontal stretch of, again, the reciprocal 1 by 2. The 2 is inside the bracket. For the horizontal is going to be 1 by 2. Now the third step is from h theta till minus 1 by 3 h theta. So it from h theta to minus 1 by 3 h theta, minus 1 by 3 is outside the bracket, and thus this transformation is going to take place along the y-axis. Okay, so this is going to be a vertical stretch of minus 1 by 3, vertical stretch of minus 1 by 3, or in other words, it is going to be 1 by 3 plus a flip along x-axis. 1 by 3 plus a flip along the 1 by 3 plus a flip along the y-axis or across the x-axis. Okay, so 1 by 3 plus a flip, or let's just call it vertical flip. Okay, so we have vertical stretch of minus 1 by 3, which is, in other words, 1 by 3 plus a vertical flip, and the final step is from j theta till j theta minus 5 by 3. Minus 5 by 3 is outside the bracket, thus this is going to take place along the vertical axis. In this case, this is going to be a vertical translation of minus 5 by 3. Okay, so we have got 4 different transformations, and this 4 different transformations to take care of. Okay, I mean, we could do the graphs in 4 different steps, but I will try to do the entire thing in less than 4 steps. Okay, so the first step is that it moves, the graph has a positive plus pi unit translation along the x-axis. Okay, so the entire graph moves that way pi units. Okay, so the entire graph moves that way pi units. The second step is we get a horizontal stretch of half, so the entire graph then gets compressed by half. Okay, along the x-axis. And the third step is the vertical stretch of minus 1 by 3, or 1 by 3 plus a flip, and the final step is a minus 5 by 3 vertical translation. Alright, let's do the first 2 steps together before we move on for the third and the fourth. So the first 2 steps, if you do, move the graph pi units to the right, and then apply a stretch of half. Okay, if you cannot do them together, in that case it's better to always do them separately. That way you will be preventing yourself from doing any mistakes. So here Alright, notice that the minus 3 pi over here, okay, the minus 3 pi that we had is moving pi units forwards, so that becomes minus 2 pi. Okay, if for the time being I'm just doing step 1. Okay, let's consider just step 1 for the time being. So minus 3 pi becomes minus 2 pi, minus 5 pi by 2, okay, add pi, that becomes minus 3 pi by 2, this becomes minus pi by 2, this was actually supposed to be this one. The entire graph moved pi units. So in that case, this since the entire graph moved 5 units, as a result, the axis is going to get transformed here, not here. Okay, it's moving pi, and the axis is moving pi units backwards since the graph is moving pi units forwards. Okay, so this is where your graph ends actually. This is the axis. So minus 2 pi, minus 3 pi by 2, minus pi by 2. Then we have an asymptote here. That's an asymptote here. That is going to be at pi by 2. This asymptote is going to be 3 pi by 2. This is at 5 pi by 2. And this is at 7 pi by 2. And finally this, which was initially at 3 pi, is going to become now 4 pi. Alright, so first step is done where you did the horizontal translation of plus pi. Now the second step, okay, the second step is going to be a horizontal stretch of half. In other words, we are going to multiply all the x-axis values by half. So this becomes minus 2 pi becomes minus pi, minus 3 pi by 4, minus pi by 4, pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 5 pi by 4, 7 pi by 4, and this becomes 2 pi. Alright, so you've done it all the horizontal translation, the horizontal stretch. Now the vertical stretch, if you notice, right now the minimum value over here is 1 and the maximum value over here is minus 1. But we are doing a vertical stretch of minus 1 by 3, which is, in other words, 1 by 3 plus a vertical flip. So we're going to flip the graph and multiply the values by 1 by 3. Alright, so flip the graph and multiply by 1 by 3, so we get flip the graph again, and then the rest is going to copy from there. Okay. Okay, so we did the flip, and you also need to multiply all the values by 1 by 3. So this one, the value for 1 is going to become minus 1 by 3. Okay, this is going to be minus 1 by 3, and the value for minus 1 is going to become plus 1 by 3. So that was step 3. And finally you need to do step 4, which is the vertical translation minus 5 by 3, or in other words, you're going to move the entire graph downwards by minus 5 by 3, and that will finally result in, if we draw the graph this way, minus 5 by 3 . Oh, just before you mention that, let's just complete this axis here. Okay, minus 3 pi by 4, minus pi by 4, pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 5 pi by 4, 7 pi by 4, and this is 2 pi. Alright, so we are moving it downwards minus 5 pi by 3, so we get this is theta, this is y, and this is going to be minus 2 pi, this is minus 3 pi by 4, this is minus pi by 4, sorry, that is minus pi, sorry, that is minus pi, minus pi minus 3 pi by 4 minus pi by 4, that's 0, that's pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 5 pi by 4, 7 pi by 4, that's 2 pi over here. Now in the previous step we had 1 by 3 and minus 1 by 3, so since they're moving minus 5 by 3 or 5 by 3 downwards, okay, so 1 by 3 becomes minus 2, okay, 1 by 3 becomes minus 2, and minus 1 by 3, sorry, 1 by 3 becomes minus 4 by 3, and minus 1 by 3 becomes minus 2. Okay, again 1 by 3 and minus 1 by 3, 1 by 3 minus 5 by 3 is minus 4 by 3, okay, and minus 1 by 3 minus 5 by 3 is minus 2. Notice that this is, both of them are negative, so as a result these graphs are actually crossing, the y-axis. The graph moved downwards and the top portions have now crossed the y-axis. Okay, so this is your final graph, and just to make sure whether you're in the range that was already specified in the question, this range that was specified was minus pi till 2 pi. Okay, our starting point was different, but our ending point is minus pi till 2 pi, and thus we are in the range. And so since we are in the range, this is the final answer, and the answer is